everyone, I'm Elizabeth Hines and welcome to another episode of Coast Connections. And for those of you that think this show is for the birds, you're absolutely right. Specifically, birds that are racing pigeons is our topic tonight. And the people that are passionate about raising them, the Pigeon Fanciers. And what does Noah, Queen Elizabeth, the Olympic Games, the World War II soldiers all have in common? They all have pigeon lofts. And tonight we're going to talk to some of the ones here in Nanaimo. Nanaimo has the oldest pigeon racing club in Canada. It was established in 1899. And we're going to learn more about that and some of the people that have come up through the ranks, different generations. Our first guest is young Cruz Merriman. Hello, Cruz.
Hello.
Welcome to Coast Connections. Thanks for bringing your lovely, lovely pigeons with you today. They're beautiful. And who did you bring with you sitting next to you?
Bill.
And who's Bill?
My grandpa.
Your Grandpa Bill.
Grandpa Bill.
Welcome to the show, Grandpa Bill.
Thank you.
Bill
Pleasure to be here, that's for sure.
Bill and Cruz Merriman bonded with your passion for pigeons.
Yes,
Yeah.
we enjoy it in the backyard and summertime fun.
Nice. Cruz, how old are you, buddy?
7.
7. And how long have you been raising pigeons?
When I was 6.
Since you're 6. So that's a good year already. And Cruz, what school do you go to?
Cinnabar.
Cinnabar School? And do you want to say hi to your class and your teacher?
Hi.
What's your teacher's name?
Miss Collins.
Miss Collins. There you go. Nice. Have you ever taken your birds to school to show Miss Collins?
No.
Well, she'll be able to watch it on TV now with you. Yeah. You show it to your class.
Might end up there next.
Mm-hmm. Bill, how long have you been involved with pigeon racing?
Well, I've had 2 shots out of it. Once when I was very young. I started back in 1967, I guess. My older brother was already into the racing pigeon, and then I started getting into it as well. Mm-hmm. Did it for about 10 years down there, maybe a little bit more, and then took a break because I got heavily into soccer and work and school, and then I moved up to Nanaimo, and I ended up back into it again. So now I've been into it again for 30 years almost now.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
We have some photos of you as a young man winning all your trophies.
Yeah, that was my brother and the brains of the operation. Yeah.
Very good. And tell us a little bit about the Mid-Island Pigeon Association, Bill. It's one of the oldest ones in Canada.
Well, the Mid-Isle is kind of a break-off from Nanaimo. Nanaimo is one of the oldest ones. Mm-hmm. And then more and more people got involved in the sport. And so then the area from the Flyers got bigger and bigger. So then the Mid-Isle area started to form their own club, and Nanaimo had stayed and kept their club. So now we have Nanaimo, which is a non-flying club.
Okay.
And Mid-Isle, which is a flying club right now. But Nanaimo is the oldest club, and we have about 5-6 members that keep the club going. And again, we're hoping to do some flying this year, a couple of races anyways, just because the legend of the Nanaimo Club is so strong.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And Cruz, introduce the pigeons that you brought to us. What are their names?
Yummy.
Mm-hmm. Yummy.
And I don't know the other one.
Whose pet is that?
Uncle Lenny.
Yummy and Uncle Lenny's pet.
Uncle Lenny's pet, eh?
What do you like about having pigeons to raise?
Racing them.
Racing them, yeah. How far do they race, Cruz? How many miles?
I don't know.
Our furthest race now is about 470 kilometers from Bella Bella. That's our farthest one. Before, we used to race as far as Edmonton for when I was in Victoria Club. And then also they used to race here from Nanaimo before I was here, but when the club first started up, they used to race down to Wheat, California.
Wow.
They used to race that pattern rather than, we went from that, and then we went from the Edmonton this direction, and now we're on an island, just do the island course.
That's an incredible feat. How many hours would that have taken to fly from Bella Bella to Nanaimo?
They usually, I mean, we are fortunate that, 6-7 hours maybe you wait for them, and it's we hope.
Yeah.
It's they're our best is probably about 7 hours or so, because it's a good course for them.
And that's nonstop.
That's nonstop. Yeah.
So these are quite the amazing little athletes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. To fly that kind of distance.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they are, as athletes. You have to do all the things that go with when you look after an athlete as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun because I enjoy sports, and Cruz does his sports, and now we do this together. And
How nice.
yeah.
And Cruz, pigeons live in a home is it called a loft?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you help to take care of them in the loft, don't you? We have a picture of you here.
Yep.
What do you do inside the loft to keep them healthy and clean?
Feed them and clean.
Clean up anything any pigeon poop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun job, eh?
Yeah.
Not his favorite job.
No.
Favorite job is banding the pigeons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do pigeons like to eat, Cruz?
Peanuts.
Peanuts, is that their favorite?
Yeah.
That gives them lots of energy. Do you also like peanuts? What's your favorite food?
Toast.
Toast. There you go. Yeah. Now there's pigeon racing associations around the world. There's about 85 countries that participate in this, and across Canada, coast to coast, there's about 120 racing pigeon groups. I had no idea. And what prompted our interest in this was when we learned about Bert, the racing pigeon, who made it to Nanaimo's most memorable animal stories.
Yes.
Now, tell us about Bert and how he got lost in Williams Lake.
Well, Bert was one of the birds that I was racing, and my brother, of course, the two of us, but we were racing it. And I trained it. I took it up to Eve River and let it go, and it didn't make it home. So, we obviously, like all pigeon people, they put their theories together and try to figure it out, but the bird did not make it home. And then I got a phone call from the SPCA, from the CU, the club, saying that the SPCA in Williams Lake has one of your birds. So I called them, and then we went on, and now a lady up in Williams Lake has that bird. So, yeah.
So you didn't have it returned to you in Nanaimo.
No.
She's now adopted the bird.
We had it set up so that we were going to get it picked up at her house. And then I said, well, if you want, you can fly it. I'll pay you, and you can fly it out. And then she actually
fly
said,
it on an airplane, not
on an airplane. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's another option, though, just to let it go, see if it flies. But we didn't really want to do it to that bird. So yeah, she said, well, she'd like to keep it. And I said, you've made it a pet. You've looked after it. You can definitely keep that pigeon in with your birds. So
now, do pigeons go missing very often?
Well, they do. Originally, like when they're young birds, you probably lose more than you do once they're older and they're familiar. And usually the older ones you lose are more because of predators and things like that. Whereas the younger ones, they get spooked and scared, and it's like anything else.
And Cruz, what is a predator? What is an enemy for the pigeons that you have to watch out for?
Hawks.
Hawks really like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. What other kind of animals?
Owls.
Owls, yeah. So you have to make your pigeon loft very secure, wouldn't you? To make sure they don't get in.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
By building doors and slide doors.
So they can't get in. No fox in the pigeon house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Is there anything scary about raising pigeons?
No.
No? What are they like to hold? Do they weigh very heavy, or how do you hold a pigeon?
By the wings.
And very gently?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill, tell us about the banding. Each pigeon is banded for what reason?
Yeah, well, like the pigeons are banded so that obviously we can keep track of them as pigeon flyers, and we can keep track of our own pigeons. But also, if a pigeon does go missing, it's very easy now to track back to the birds, because the bands, it has the like Canadian Union, which is a major body, or CPFA, which is another major body. That's who you buy your pigeons from, or your bands from. And then those numbers and everything is on the band. If somebody finds a lost pigeon, or they just look at the band and it's all that information's there, and they can call them. They can come back to us with, hey, your bird's there. So within a matter of, in a matter of, hours, somebody can find your bird and you can have that information back to you.
That's a lot of information on a tiny little band.
Yeah.
Yeah. At what age are they banded?
When they're a few weeks old, then they're banded, because then once they're older than that, you can't get the bands on their feet. So you have to band them. And that's for racing purposes as well as the same, right? People can't take bands off and on, things like that.
Some bands Grandpa's got some bands he's going to show us.
Some bands here that Cruz usually puts on the birds. And then they have all the information on them. And some even have websites on them, so that you can go directly to the websites. And they have their numbers and the clubs as well, their initials. So it has everything we need on there, and the year the bird was born. And some people even get their phone number put on it. So
if you find a lost pigeon, it's very easy to, either call the SPCA or the number listed on the band. Yeah, and it'll say CU, AU, CPFA, and those are all the major, and they just call them and they can track right away whose bands those are. So. So Cruz,
nice.
How many baby pigeons did you have this year?
10.
10, that's a lot.
So far.
Wow. How many can you have in 1 year?
I don't know.
And what do you call a baby pigeon? Is it called a squeaker?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's called a squeaker?
They squeak.
They squeak? What kind of sound do they make?
I don't know.
Can you squeak for us?
Squeak.
A little louder.
Squeak.
Yeah. You always know when you go in there, you go, hey, we have to ban this one, we have to ban that one.
When you're in your loft, have you ever found any other animals in there that shouldn't have been in?
No.
Any other birds besides pigeons?
No.
No? Looks like you keep a pretty clean loft, because these birds are very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Grandpa's found hawks in there, cats
Hawks
in
right
there.
in the loft? Wow.
Yeah, because the trap system where the birds go in, sometimes they'll come and they'll go right through there. Not very often. Like I probably had 1 or 2 in my whole time.
Wow.
But they're, that's obviously very hungry. Feeding young ones or something like that, they get pretty disposed of.
Bill, take us to race day. Now, what happens on a typical race?
Race day, to start from our loft, we'll go out and select our birds that we're going to put in the race and check them over to make sure that they've had no damage done to them during the week, or been, broken feather, or just to make sure they're ready and they're there. So then we'll basket our birds up, and the other flyers will basket their birds, and then we'll all go meet at one of our flyer. Doug Chadwick has a place where we all meet, and then we run our birds through, because they'll have one of these electronic bands.
Okay.
They'll have on their foot, and that we run over a pad, and it'll tell you your bird number, and it'll register you into that race. And then we'll put all our birds onto the trailer, and then someone will drive the trailer up to the destination we want and release the birds from there. So.
And when they come back, because it's based on time, right? Whoever arrives first. How do you know they've actually completed the course and didn't take a shortcut?
Well, when they come back, they go across a pad, electronic pad right here.
Hold that up, sure.
I actually have one right here. And you can see these pads on here. When the bird crosses it, it will register onto here and into this module. So this module, when we go there, like I say, we register the bands. They're in the module. Then when the bird comes home, it'll say, that bird is home. So then when we take these, everybody takes theirs, it'll tell you exactly whose birds are home, what time they're home,
Wow.
and then we can figure all the rest out from there. So.
And is
And they're
there
printouts.
is there prize money involved? Is there some kind of distinction if your bird wins?
No, it's just bragging rights right now and bugging your friends. No, no, it's no, we don't have money involved. It's a hobby, and it's just for fun. So
Oh, nice.
yeah,
I read recently that one of the most expensive pigeons ever sold, it was in 2022 from Belgium, was 1.9 million.
yes,
Sold from
China.
to China. Yeah.
Yes,
And apparently pigeon racing over there is very, very
it's one of the
big deal, like
Fastest.
gambling and
fastest areas that is growing in our sport. Yeah, it's big money there because they'll take a pigeon like that and they'll breed off it just like horses or dogs or any other kind of animal, and then sell off of that and so on and so
Yeah.
on. But
Cruz. What's Yummy too? What's his personality like?
Flying.
He likes to fly. Is he a gentle bird?
Yeah.
Does he get along well with the other birds?
Yep.
And do you have to give a bird a bath?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You fill a tub with cold water.
A tub with cold water?
outside in the yard.
And they'll go in and flap around?
Yeah.
Is that fun to watch?
Yeah.
It must be fun on race day too when they release all the birds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that your bird beat Grandpa's bird on
Hey.
a flight from Bella Bella. Yeah, good for you. Was that the
Yes.
first time you beat Grandpa's bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes, he did. He won the race for the whole club. His bird came in first.
Congratulations.
So
Good on you, Cruz. You got a bright future ahead of you
I
with
think
your
the
pigeons.
trophy was bigger than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Now, Bill, how does a pigeon navigate? I mean, this is so controversial. We really don't know.
We don't. There's so many different theories.
Yes.
Yeah, some people, I think the biggest theory and the strongest out there is the magnetic pull of, and I think also that's
The
why
Earth's
people think,
magnetic fields.
yeah, and a lot of people think maybe that's why we're losing a couple more birds than normal. Not just predators, but also like cell phone towers and all the things going
Wind
on in
turbines.
the air. Yes,
Yeah.
wind turbines, everything,
Yeah.
all adding up, and it's maybe causing some problems for the birds a little bit more than normal. Because I do know if there's a thunderstorm or something like that, it'll affect the birds for sure. It's interesting because I always give my brother, we always joke because I tell him, if there's a thunderstorm coming, we're either getting a bird home that we missed or we're going to lose a bird because something happens. It's like the pigeons can almost sense it, and all of a sudden, you'll get a bird home. The next day or two, it'll be a big storm. So
Wow.
it's kind of,
They're very sensitive
they are.
to
It's,
weather.
they'll be like, oh, time to,
Yeah. And Bill, you would only race them at daytime, right? They don't fly at night.
No.
No.
We
Yeah.
only train them and let them out and race them during the day. We try to get them up early in the morning, and that'll give them all day. Or, normally they'll go, if I drive to Campbell River, they'll beat me home. If I drive to Qualicum, they'll beat me home. So, yeah,
That's funny, eh?
yeah, it's fun.
And on race day, how many pigeons would you release when you all collectively gather?
There's about 7 of us flying, and we would all put 40 to 50 birds on the truck.
Wow.
And what we do is we have 2 races, so we'll split that in half. And we'll have one side of our trailer with A race, we'll call it, and then the other side will be B race, and gives us more time to sit and drink coffee, I think, more than anything, and enjoy it.
So after you've released them, then you guys go back home.
Yeah, we have somebody that volunteers to take the birds up to the release point, and that's all been GPSed, and they'll write it down, and then they'll release them, and we sit and wait. And I live in Cedar, so I'll phone Doug Chadwick, who's a very good friend of mine. He lives in Chemainus, and I'll say, well, Doug, your bird should be there in 15 minutes, so start looking.
Yeah.
And he'll go, no, mine's already here. And then I'll be like, we lost this one, Cruz. Doug's already got a bird.
Yeah. And we have a really nice picture of is it Grumpy's Loft?
Yes.
Tell us about the story behind this.
Well, that's my dad. He's the one that got myself and
Cruz's
my
great-grandpa.
brother. Cruz's great-grandpa, yeah. He got us in pigeons very young. He knew a lot of people, you know, in the Victoria area with pigeons, and also he started with getting pigeons from under the wharf and loved pigeons himself. So he got my brother and me into the pigeon sport, and then he was actually, when I moved to Nanaimo, he was in one of those one loft derbies that they used to have, and he won some money. So he gave me the money and said, here, build yourself a loft. We're going to do it. You're going to do it right. So I had a good friend, Art Gast, who helped me, and we built a good loft.
Nice. So this is 3 generations already in the Merriman family. Yeah, that's
Which
very
is
nice to pass that
because you don't see
along.
very many young
No.
people in the pigeons. And,
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And it's nice that this hobby, which has been around since the beginning of time, I mean, the first Olympic Games in Greece, they used pigeons to announce the names of winners.
Exactly. They would send them, yeah, we won.
Yeah, we won.
Put this on and send the pigeon away to tell them back home we won.
Yeah. How do you train the pigeon to come home? Is there a difference between a homing pigeon and a racing pigeon, or is it just semantics?
Semantics,
Yeah.
but racing, there's such a thing as show homers, which is totally different. They're not racing pigeons. By the racing pigeon itself, we'll train it by when they're young, we'll let them out, get them familiarized with their area, and then maybe take them 5 miles away, let them go, and then maybe 10, 20, 15, and just slowly move them along and train them that way. And then once they're older and they're really into racing, we'll train them twice a week. For me, I take them to Parksville maybe, or somewhere around that area.
And is it them? I mean, all they want to do is come home, right? I think we
Correct.
can all relate to a pigeon.
Yes,
I
for
just
sure.
want to come home.
Just want to get there and get back
So
on
is it the food that they are coming back for? Like, do you feed them before a race, or are they heading out, you know, without a full crop?
A lot of times we'll feed them because, again, I mean, we want them to have the best chance of getting home.
Sure.
So, you know, we'll feed them a bit, make sure they have good food, and up there when they release them, they'll make sure they get water. So it's more just the incentive to get home to where they live, and that's, you know, what it was. Same as back when they used them in the war and everything else. They just wanted to get home. So.
And they were war heroes. There's
Yes.
many pigeons that were used, well, throughout time in war, but more frequently in World War II. And they were actually awarded medals for some of the bravery that they did.
Yeah,
and there's monuments to these birds as well for their efforts in saving humanity.
Yeah, quite a few pigeons actually, you know, got medals, and some came home wounded, and you know, were awarded medals for that too. And
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. I mean, that's one of the reasons. For instance, Nanaimo, when they used to race down California, when it was in the infant stages, they had to stop and change directions because when the war, the border was shut down. So they weren't allowed to take birds across the border and let them back and forth.
Yeah.
So,
There's a really good book that I read recently, Bill, Operation Columba, The Secret Pigeon Service. And this is all about the pigeon service during World War II from the British side. And they were actually part of the, they didn't have a rank, but they were part of the British pigeon service. And Canada had them as well. And one bird named Beachcomber was with the Canadian Army. And he was one of the ones that sent messages to and from Dieppe over the battles there. And another one, Mon Chéri, was one of the ones that sent information on the D-Day landings to and from the Britain. So they sort of knew when, you know, where the fortifications were, where the troops were. These types of messages is what these birds carried.
they're amazing.
They're absolutely amazing. They saved humanity. They're messengers of peace as well. And
No, it's incredible. I mean, the service and everything, just about them, I think it's, a lot of people don't understand them. And, you know, they really don't, especially this day and age. It's like a pigeon is a street pigeon to most people.
And Bill and Cruz, just having them nearby, it's just a very nice energy. It's a very calming, soothing thing to have a pigeon this close to us here. Is that
That's-
how you feel with them?
That's what I like, because, you know, when I was really busy and coaching at a good level and working at the, you know, I'd get to go home and just let my birds out and sit in my chair and have a coffee, and they walk around, they have their baths and they do whatever. You go in and, you know, you clean and you just putter around them, and they're very, you know, the more attention you give them, the friendlier they are too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's been really nice having you both here. And if people want to get involved in the Mid-Island Pigeon Racing Association, what have you have available for us?
well, I mean, you can just go on the internet, and the Mid-Island Racing Pigeon Association, they have their own website, and you just can bing on there, and all the membership list is on there, and reach out to us. And for sure, this year has been great. Actually, we've had 3 or 4 people that have reached out and wanted to have pigeons, which is so nice
Nice.
to have more people.
And how many races do you do a year, Bill?
We do 7.
7.
7 races for the old birds, and then normally we would do the same for young birds. So lately we haven't been doing young birds the last 2 years, but we're hoping to do them again this year, the young bird season.
And are you also breeding pigeons, or?
Yes, like right now, like Cruz says, he has 10 young birds. That's in his loft right now. By the time he's done, he'll probably have 20 or so. And then same for us, we'll breed 30, 40 pigeons and train them and start with more.
Are these Homer breed pigeons? What breed are they? They're Homer.
These racing pigeons, yeah. And then, this one here is, it's a 2017 born, and it's already raced and done everything it can do. And that's what we usually do is Bella, and then you can retire. They don't need to prove anything.
It's a beautiful sport, and it's just really nice to see that this ancient sport still is alive and well here on Vancouver Island, one of the oldest
awesome.
groups in Canada. So good for you and your grandfather for the work that you've been doing to keep this alive. And Cruz, good for you, buddy, for taking such good care of your birds. They're so very healthy and beautiful, and nice sparkly eyes too. That means that you love them a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No.
Okay. Well, it was really nice to have you and your grandpa here. Thanks for bringing him, and thanks for bringing your birds.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. And if you'd like to get a loft with this hobby, just contact the Mid-Island Racing Pigeon Racing Association, and you too can join this beautiful, ancient, and very meditative sport. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Coast Connections.